Hello, this is Edwin Dearborn, another edition of Caffeinated Content where I come to you with those great business ideas over that hot cup of coffee. Okay, so you're advertising for your very first time online. Maybe you've advertised in the past. It hasn't gone as well as you thought. And I want to tell you what you need to do when you're advertising online, particularly if it's your first time or you're just kind of starting out. And what I'm telling you is based on how audiences will research you after they see your ad. See, in the old days, it just was simple. You put them in a funnel, they responded, they give you their email, and then you remarket to them through your email list or you called them. But as I talked about yesterday in yesterday's edition of Caffeinated Content, audiences are becoming much more savvy and they're jumping to multiple platforms in a very short period of time. Literally within a matter of minutes, they will go and inspect, do you have a YouTube channel? Let me check out your Twitter. Does he have a LinkedIn profile? Let me see his website. And they can, skip around and look at these different digital properties while you're advertising them in real time because they have the capability to do so. So your online presence, if not there, will actually detract from your advertising results. So you've probably done it yourself where you hear of a great restaurant and you immediately go to Yelp to see how many reviews, or you Google them to see how many Google reviews they have, or are there any magazines that must have written an article about them. And so in a matter of minutes, you look at the Google reviews, you look at the Yelp reviews, they've been written up in the Las Vegas Journal, must be a great place. And you do all this in less than 60 seconds. Well, if you're doing that with brands, I guarantee you people are doing that when they see your advertisement because they know they've got multiple choices. They have so many options. So even though you're trying to drive them to your website, they're going to check you out on other platforms. Now, Google referred to this in the past as zero moment of truth. They now refer to it as micro moments. You can look up those two things on YouTube. Google micro moments or zero moment of truth. And it'll show you the exact pattern that your audiences are taking when they're online looking for a brand. And the phenomenon is this: 90% of the people that see your advertisement are opening up other windows or checking other sites to verify who you are. I've had this done as a speaker. While I'm talking to them, I tell them my name and I ask them to raise their hand after 5 minutes going, how many people have already Googled me and checked out my various stuff? And they're like, oh yeah, I've checked out your website, I've checked out your videos. They're doing this while I'm talking. This is zero moment or micro moments in action. If they're doing it to me and you're doing it to restaurants, they're doing it to you. So when you're putting your ad out there, you're really putting your brand out there. And you've got to make sure that you've got branded content across the internet. Do you have positive reviews? Do you have some YouTube videos? Is your website ranking for your name, right? Or do you have podcasts? Are you just content rich? This would be a smart move for those who understand how audiences respond, who truly understand the research done by Google regarding zero moment of truth. And this social presence, this omni-channel presence is so vital to increasing your advertising results. So if you've got bad reviews in your advertising, they're going to find out, and then all your ad money is going to go and be wasted because they went and side-checked you, right? So I'm going to give you a couple of tips on what to do when you start your advertising campaign or how you can bolster your existing one. So number one, you want to make sure that you're putting content across the internet, across social circles, and that includes user-generated content, which would be reviews of you on Google and Yelp. So you've got to be always increasing your positive presence with reviews across the web. Number two, try to get their email and send content to them. They may opt in and not quite yet want to buy from you or do business with you, but if you drip to them content like I do, I send out 2 emails a week. They get in my email database, maybe they download my book, or I meet them and they're not quite ready to buy right now, but I drip on them. And I have a very big contract that came about from a guy that I put in my database I dripped on him for a year and a half, and he finally said, you know what, I'm ready to do business, and hopefully we sign a contract this week. Now, he's paid me before in the past, but we're about to sign an even bigger contract, and that came about from somebody that I dripped information to. Number two, retargeting. You need to put a pixel on your website so that you can take those visitors and retarget them through YouTube videos, through Facebook ads. Have a special ad campaign specifically for those people that you've driven to your website. Retargeting, or remarketing as it's often called, is an effective way to stay in front of the people that already have a little bit of an idea of what your brand is or who you are. So you may market to millions of people, but only 5,000 people have actually landed on your website. I would have a separate remarketing campaign for those 5,000 people to stay in front of them whenever they're on Facebook or YouTube. And then number three, what I would do is I would just continue to advertise, because repetition of message is so critical to stand out. You know, I moved here to Las Vegas about 2 years ago, and there's a air conditioning company called Kettle, right? Now, I don't need any air conditioning services, but I can guarantee you that if and when I ever need advertising services, I'm calling Kettle, because they just advertise all the time, everywhere I go, whether it's the radio, television, online. Kettle is there. So in my mind is, I don't really know whether they're the best or not, but I've heard them so many times that if my air conditioning broke, I'd just be like, you know what, it's just dinged into my mind as the choice. So you have to be consistent and persistent. This is why it's called a campaign. And I have so many people that are like, we've been marketing for a month, why is nothing happening? I'm like, because we've only been marketing for a month. Yes, we should have some leads, but if you really want to build a brand, ask yourself this question: how long do you think it really takes to build a brand? How long, really, let's be honest with yourself, does it take for a brand to stand out as the obvious choice in its area or to its audience? Now, I've asked that question of many business leaders, and they all say, oh, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, right, years. It takes years to build a brand. So if you're too quick and too spastic to go after 2 months going, oh, we got to change everything, then you don't understand how audiences build trust with brands. You don't understand how they're buying. And the moment you understand how audiences buy, how audiences search, how trust is built in people, and you do those things correctly, then as a brand, you will stand out and you will gain traction in the marketplace. And more than that, you'll have a business that will last a long time because it's remembered, it's thought well of, and it's regarded as the best choice to do business with. Okay, this is Edwin Dearborn. Hopefully you found this of value. If you did, give it a thumbs up, share it to your friends and family, and we'll talk later. Bye-bye.